Alright, I want to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about the information in Chapter 2, the Earth-Sun relationship and its climates. Some of this stuff we've already reviewed, but I thought this video would be helpful for you to watch just to kind of fill in some gaps. So several learning targets that we're going to hit on here. We're going to talk about the Earth-Sun relationship and just how the Earth depends so much on the Sun. We'll kind of review again over the climate zones, and you can ignore this homework on there. I should have taken that off. So finally, with the learning targets, you're going to be able to explain how the Earth rotates on its axis and revolves around the Sun simultaneously. We'll look at the layers of the Earth. We need to be able to illustrate how and why the Earth experiences 4 seasons, identify how elements affect climates across the Earth, and finally we'll kind of show you again the 12 climates zones around Earth. So first, some of this is going to be reviewed for you, I'm sure. The Earth spins on its tilted axis. That's kind of a key term to be able to know. And the Earth completes one rotation on its axis every 24 hours, with half of the Earth experiencing daylight and half of it experiencing night because of its position towards the Sun. The Earth makes one revolution, one complete trip around the Sun every 365.25 days. Notice that 0.25 there, so it's not exactly 365 days. This is why every 4 years those 0.25s are added up together to give us one extra day in February to create a leap year. So February has one extra day every 4 years to even everything out so that time can be accurate. The Earth is often kind of compared to an onion in that it has layers to it. There are 4 layers. There's the inner core, which is solid. Think about like something hard like a golf ball. And then around that is an outer core of melted liquid metal. And then there's the mantle, which is the 3rd layer. You can see that in this red color right here. I can highlight it, this part right here. I'm trying to highlight it. Oops, I moved it on. Let me move back to that slide. I'm not sure I can highlight that. Thought I could. Anyway, sorry, going back. Sorry about that. I was trying to mess with one of the tools on there and it wasn't working very well. But the mantle is the 3rd layer here, this reddish color, which is has kind of 2 parts to it. There's a solid inner mantle, and then there's the hot melted rock known as magma on the outer mantle. Often you hear of magma when you think of volcanoes. And then finally there's the Earth's crust, which is a rocky shell. In the textbook, if you read that, it says that at its most shallow point, that's about 2 miles thick in the ocean's floor, and at its deepest around the mountains, it is more like 75 miles thick. And the furthest that any human has gone into the Earth's crust has been 2.5 miles deep. And the furthest that we've drilled, I believe, is 4 miles. So we've never come very close to penetrating deeper inside the Earth past the crust. Also, you might wonder, like, how do we know so much about the structure of the Earth if no one has been inside of it? Scientists have been able to identify a lot of it through scientific equipment, especially studying the vibrations from volcanoes and earthquakes, and that's how they've kind of gained an accurate picture of the liquid parts and the solid parts based on those vibrations. Alright, so moving on here, you probably know this, but the Earth is mainly water. It's made up of 70% water. Most of those are the oceans, but also lakes and rivers would also be added into that as well. And then only 30% is land. There's also the atmosphere, the air that we breathe. And then finally, the biosphere is just all the living people, animals, and plants that kind of define that. So these are the 4 major physical systems of Earth. When you look at the biosphere here, you would see, water out here and Earth, and just there's this interaction between all 3, like with the water cycle of water evaporating off of the surface of waters, especially the ocean, that goes into the atmosphere and then eventually falls in rain. That rain will go into the soil, but then also will make its way to the ocean. So it's this cycle that completes itself, often known as the water cycle. Here we're going to talk about the 4 seasons of the Earth. You can see there are several terms that are pointed out here of the summer solstice, the vernal equinox, the winter solstice, and the autumnal equinox. These are kind of like the beginnings of winter, spring, summer, and fall. They relate to the longest day, the shortest day, which would be the summer solstice is the longest day of summer, June 22nd. The winter solstice is the shortest day of the year, so that's kind of when winter begins, and then you see the other 2 pictured there. So there's great information in the book about this in Chapter 2 that I would encourage you to read. This is a video, and I don't think it's going to go ahead and play for you, but I would encourage you, I will upload this as a PDF or maybe a Google slide, and I would encourage you to watch this video. It's not very long. Crash Course stuff is very good, so it gives you some more information about some of the same things that I've been saying. We've talked about climate. Remember, defining climate. Climate is weather over a longer period of time, so we're not talking about just the conditions in a place for one day or even just a couple of weeks. We're talking about it over the course of many, many years. And those things are fairly consistent, not changing. And there you see that definition is the average weather conditions in a region over a long period of time. Climate can be affected by lots of different things. The video on the previous slide really does a good job of talking about this. Elevation, wind, ocean, precipitation, landforms. Some of those hit on the various climate zones that are shown in this picture and that we've already talked about. Here's another video that would be good to watch. It's just really comparing the 2 of weather versus climate, so I'd encourage you to watch that as well. And then these are the 12 climates that we've gone through. I had you take some notes on those. We will connect these each to the areas in the Eastern Hemisphere as we go through the chapters of the book. And we can go ahead and ignore the homework here. This is not something that you're going to have to do. So just I thought that would be kind of a good thing to watch just to kind of tie everything together from Chapter 2. Thanks.